Hey YouTube, so I thought I'd bring another video to you guys, and this is a video on one of my recent purchases. This is a network attached storage system, a NAS as most people will call it. And I purchased this because we recently got new MacBooks, which don't come with a lot of storage space, and working with video content and things like that. I also do a lot of audio production type stuff, and wanted a good centralized place to be able to store our media and stuff like that without taking up a lot of hard drive space on those computers. So after a lot of research, I tried to find a viable solution for us without breaking the bank, because these things definitely aren't cheap, just like every other electronic these days. But this seemed to be a fairly decent model, and that's my purpose of making this video, because I wanted to basically show you guys what I found out about this after my purchase, because this is a model that came out in 2016. The WD EX2 came out prior to that, and this is the Ultra version, which is a revamped version of the regular EX2, in the sense that they upped the processor as well as the memory. So let's go ahead and take a look at the unit. It's fairly decent looking, which I liked. Some of the things that I did find appealing about this was that it was very user-friendly. There's a lot of other NAS devices out there, Synology, QNAP, those kind of devices, which are very popular. They're a lot of the leading ones. But what I found appealing about this one is its form factor. It's very appealing to the eye. It's very small and compact, but also its usability. Very easy setup. All the apps are very easy to use. The web portal is very easy to use, very easy to access and to set up. And I also like that it did advertise that it comes with Plex media server that you can install. And that is very important to us, because we will be using this to store media content, pictures, videos, things like that, and wanted a good way to be able to organize those and be able to access them from anywhere on the network. So this unit did seem very appealing to me. On the back here, it does have two USB 3.0 ports for external drives that can be backed up. The cool thing that I did find about this unit as well is you can leave a external drive plugged into this, and it also allows network access to that as well. So like I have a Seagate 3 terabit hard drive, and I can plug that into this and be able to access it from the web or from the network as well. It does have a gigabit Ethernet port, power port here on the back. Here on the top is how it opens up, which this is something that I did like a lot, because some of the other WD models, like their just MyCloud Duo version, which is the I guess a more retail model of this, less business associated or media associated, but more just direct storage. They kind of just open up with a lid that goes on the top, and very kind of cheap looking to me, honestly. But this one seemed, you know, the spring-loaded closure there, and as well as how the hard drives sit in this. I did purchase the diskless version, because you can get this, I believe, all the way up from diskless, like what I purchased, to 12 terabits. And it's a mirrored RAID system, so you put two different hard drives in it. Like me, we're going with two 6 terabit drives, and having the two 6 terabits basically only gives you 6 terabits instead of 12, but they are mirrored drives, which is the whole purpose of having a dual system like this, or a RAID configuration. So that way, when one drive fails, you still have another drive with all the information. You swap out the one that is bad, put the new one in, and it copies everything back over to that. This is only compatible, according to their compatibility list on WD's support website, only compatible with WD drives. It is recommended that you go with WD Red, labeled here on the box and also on the side here. That is drives that are configured specifically for NAS devices, because this being on all the time basically, or accessible all the time, it needs to be a drive that can handle constant use, which is not typical for a standard computer internal hard drive. So built a whole lot better, also a bit more expensive because of that. So I was able to save myself a bit by buying the drives separately. But I did do a lot of research on what to purchase. I did go with WD because of the usability. It was much more user-friendly than the Synology and QNAP ones out there, which are extremely popular. I did like some of the advanced features of those, but for my first network-attached storage drive, I did want something that's not going to be overwhelming and will be easy to use, as well as for my family, because my wife will be accessing this as well, and as time goes on, my children will as well. So this gives us something that's a start that we can get used to, and I did like the apps. The apps allow for automatic backup of our iPhones, iPads, those sort of things. It'll automatically take our pictures off of there and back them up at whatever interval that we decide. It will back up whatever files or folders that we tell it to back up within those things. So very user-friendly, not a whole lot that has to be done. But here's a few things. So to go over the specs, it's got a Marvel Armada 1.3 gigahertz dual-core A9 processor and 1 gigabyte of memory. So now, what I did find, because they do advertise it for media streaming, Plex server is one of the big things that network-attached devices are known for, and because it's a great way to be able to organize all your media content, be able to share your media content. But even though they advertise Plex on this, I did find out after the fact that Plex no longer supports the processor on this. So I was able to download the Plex server onto it. I was able to use it, but I did find that it was almost unusable because it was so slow. I tried to play many videos, some 4K videos, and it would come up that the CPU is not powerful enough. If there was anybody using the drive and somebody tried to open up another drive or another connection to it and access files, it would start to bog down really poorly and become almost unusable at that point. Loading the user interface for the device and how long it takes for it to be able to just load the home screen basically, and how it just becomes very irritating of how long it takes. And I do have a gigabit router here that's decent. I have very good internet here. We've got 200 megabytes a second download speed. So, you know, internet and network is not really an issue, but it's more just the drive itself. So I will be returning this model just because I feel for a first NAS device, I did want something that would be able to handle Plex very well, or at least decent enough to where, you know, several devices can access it and be able to not notice a huge difference in lag times and stuff like that, because I definitely don't want to have to you know, wait for somebody else to finish something to be able to download or upload something from there, or just to be able to access a file, as well as accessing it from the cloud from someplace else. Because I mean, one of the features about this, say our photos for instance, you know, we have thousands of photos and we obviously can't store them all on our iPads or our iPhones, stuff like that. But if we want to be able to share those or pull those up at any specific time, then I want to be able to access those from the cloud from someplace else, which is the benefit of these. But if it's so slow to where, you know, if I'm trying to show somebody a photo or a video and it's having a very hard time pulling it up, then it's not really worth it. And so I would say one of the deciding factors for me is I read a review where somebody else had purchased a higher up model than this, which is what I will be purchasing, and that will be the WD PR2100. it goes to a quad-core processor with 4 gigabits of RAM, and also has built-in Plex transcoding, so it can transcode any video down to whatever display you're watching it on, which I will leave a link in the description for when I get that model and do a review on it as well. Like I was saying, the deciding factor for me was somebody had purchased the higher up model, and they returned it because they thought maybe it was overkill, and then they went back and purchased this one and was kind of disappointed with it. And somebody had left a response to their review and said it is better to get a device to have room to grow rather than something that's basically you're already maxing out your needs. And that's kind of where I am. I could probably make this work. It would probably be sufficient for storing stuff on if I'm using it mainly as a network attached storage rather than a media device or something like that. But I just feel, since this is my first one and I've already kind of maxed out the use of this, then as expensive as these devices are, I don't see myself purchasing one very quickly, purchasing a second one. And so I kind of want something that's going to leave me room to grow, leave me room to be able to use it for other things as I learn more about network attached storage systems, or NAS. But like I said, so I will be returning it for that. Now, if you're looking for mainly storage device for files, you don't need them at a very rapid pace. You don't have multiple people accessing those files at the same time. Not really worried about streaming any type of media or anything like that, then this will probably do just well. But again, I feel this is kind of just outdated. It's not really powerful enough to do much other than mirroring files from one drive to the other, which in a sense is what this is for. But like I said, I will be going with the WD PR2100 because I do like the simplicity of the apps. I do like the simplicity of the setup and the web interface. All of those things are awesome, and very easy to download some of the third-party apps into the device. And the PR2100 does have all the same interface, all of that. So I will be purchasing that because it does have the better performance. So here it is. Give you another look at it. It looks awesome. It's a very solid build. Once you put the drives in it, this thing is very heavy. It is a little bit noisy, but not too bad. So I actually laid it on the side like this just so I can fit it in my desk, which is perfectly fine because hard drives are normally laying on their side anyways. And the fan is here on the bottom. And so it kind of helped to alleviate some of the noise because the fan's a lot more open at that point and getting a lot more air going inside the unit. But yeah, this thing looks great. I just wish it performed a little bit better. I wish it did have a little bit better processor and a little bit more memory. So to take it up a notch to the PR2100, I think is great. With a quad-core processor, it's I believe 1.6 gigahertz with a boost speed up to like 2.2 gigahertz or 2.5, something like that. But it also has 4 gigabits of RAM. So that's 4 times as much as what this thing has, and it's able to internally transcode videos and things like that, where this one you can barely even play a video. So yes, and I did also notice that with Plex and things like that, or backup, scheduled backups, that it does take an extremely long time to process those, to index them, to start showing thumbnails, things like that. Again, if you're using it just for basic files and things like that, no need for speed or anything, just looking for a great, seemingly reliable storage device, this is great. It's a decent one. But if you're wanting to do any more than that, then look for either the Synology QNAP or like myself, the WD PR2100. They do have an EX2100 as well, which replaced the DL line. But again, I think these days, media content is more and more coming as 4K and things like that. And so you kind of need something to be able to grow into, or you'll find yourself replacing it fairly quickly. And for what they cost, it's just totally not worth it. So again, WD My Cloud is a great ecosystem. I'm happy to be able to use it, but I do recommend a different device than this. So any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. I'll be happy to help you with them. And if you like this video, if you found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and also keep an eye out on the channel for when I do get the 2100, because I will be returning this and picking that up, and I'll do a review on that as well. So again, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful.